Humphrey is here as usual with all the latest facts that's going on, what's happening. But JJ, I can say that I guess we hadn't had any murders this week. We hadn't heard anything, so we're going to make a whole week without murders.
Bob, we were, in fact, I was printing out all what we were going to talk about today. I was printing that this morning, almost had it done, and bam, I get a call, and hey, we had a death at Crabtree. And so, yeah, I'd actually printed out a whole deal. Hey, no murders this week. First time in a long time. I can't even remember the last time that we came on our OCP podcast. Bob, can you even think back the last time that we didn't have a death to report?
No, I can't.
Hey, I don't know whether it's been a long time.
Years.
It's been a long time. And seems like a year or so ago, we went about 2 weeks one time without having any deaths, which was just astronomical. But, yep, got a call this morning. Crabtree, person was dead all night, been dead in there a long time was what was reported to me. Nobody had found him. He got found early this morning at 8 o'clock. I think they brought in somewhere like that. That's what I'm hearing, that they actually found him at about 6 o'clock, I think, between 5 and 6 o'clock. But it was 8 or 8:30 before the, paramedics and all the, I don't even know if they called the paramedics. But anyways, I'm trying to think, medical examiner and all that, before they got there, it's probably about 8 o'clock is what I was hearing.
So well, there's so much staffing shortage, there's no problem. I mean, they can't expect these guys to do everything.
Well, Bob, it's no question that, again, when you have, and what we want to go out and we want to openly say, I want to openly state, hey, for you correctional officers and you staff and you, your case managers, if we come back and say, nobody did a count, or if we come back and we say these records were screwed up, hey, we're not trying to blame you guys, man. Y'all are short-handed. You're trying to do 25 jobs, and no way you can do them all. And that's what we're saying is that, it's not y'all's fault that nobody caught this. It's their fault because they don't have the appropriate staff. And
well, it's mismanagement. What they've gone through the last 3 years is mismanagement. It just,
Well, they changed the policy to cover up their own failures. Bob, one of the things that got reported to us this week was they got a massive mold. Now, Bob, it ain't mold just in Mabel Bassett. I got pictures of mold. I think that's at Connors, in their showers, in their bathrooms. I mean, it's bad. Yeah, I think there's pictures. I've got pictures of, I think I've had pictures of Lexington and other places. So they've got these issues going on all around the state. But there at Mabel Bassett, they have a massive mold problem, is what I'm being told. And, I heard this week, maybe, was you telling me that the person got fired? Was that you telling me?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Got fired because she couldn't get rid of the mold when they've had the mold in. How would that be her problem? You know what I'm saying? Why would you fire a person?
They expect the employees to go buy the equipment, you go buy the whatever they have to buy to try to get rid of that mold. They put it all on the employees rather than get a mold person come in outside and do this.
Here's what gets me, Bob. You got a person that will go buy all the stuff, come in and try on their own, spending their money, getting their own materials, which should not be able to get in. You shouldn't be able to get that into the prison. You know what I'm saying? There's a problem. But trying to get that in, take care of the mold, and they still fire you. I mean, it doesn't. You can't make this stuff up. Can they get any sorrier? About the day you think, nope, can't get no sorrier, wham, they do something like this, person trying to get that, trying to do that, and bam, fire them. It's, and have a staffing shortage, and then you're going to fire people who are trying to help you like that. I can't wrap my mind around that, Bob. I can't understand them. Management, what are they thinking? What are they doing on that?
Well, this person told me that the person who did get fired had been there 8 or 9 years and had been promoted every 2 years since she's been there, and had one letter in 8 years. And it was just a minimum issue, and they just fire her. They don't follow any type of policies. They just fire willy-nilly.
Well, Bob, and the last, I'd say 7 or 8 people that we've talked to that's been fired have been long-term people, been promoted, many of them in higher ranking positions in the department, held multiple positions, had all good evaluations. The last evaluations got good, and now just boom, they walk in. One that just floored me, he's on the road to go to the doctor. And that's how much they care about those people. Hey, turn around. Don't go to your doctor. Don't go take care of yourself. Turn around and come back and let us fire you.
Yeah.
And for what? And it turned out he wasn't even there the day they was talking about what they were trying to get that person on, but they still fired him because they wanted to fire him. And the deal is why they want to fire that person. And I figure most of these people, they have experience and knowledge. And so, you know what I'm saying? They're people that go, well, the policy says, or we can't do that because, hey, they don't want anybody that knows what they're doing. They want a bunch of people that just say, okay, whatever you tell me to do, I'll go down there and do it. And then what they don't know is when something goes wrong, they'll hang them out to dry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's unreal. But back to this deal on Crabtree, I got off on the mold issue, Bob. That mold thing's on my mind, that lady getting fired there, or person getting fired. It bothers me that they would be that sorry, a person trying to come in, fix that. Of course, now, I will say we're here on one side, but I will tell you this, Bob. I don't know about you, but I used to be kind of objective. I used to be, well, let's hear the other side. Okay, hold on, let's hear the other side. I've almost got to where I don't even need to hear the other side. That other side has lied, cheated, broke the deal, has screwed people so bad. Hey, your reputation, if you did something right, I wouldn't believe it. You know what I'm saying, Bob? If they did do something right, I'd plumb fall out of my chair in shock, Oh, crud, y'all treated somebody right. Wow, who would ever thought that would happen? But they haven't thrown me for any surprises, Bob. I'm still in my chair. I'm still pretty solid in the chair,
Yeah.
But Bob, the thing about it is, here we are back on this deal. A guy all night long dead, and nobody is going to even catch that. A whole 8-hour period or whatever that is. I think their lights out at 10 o'clock. 10 till 5 in the morning. So that's 7 hours. 7 hours, man's dead there, and nobody. And I guess that's possible, Bob. I mean, if he's laying in that bed and they went by, I guess it's possible. But it's just saying, generally you'll see somebody move or you'll see something, And again, we don't know, did he die of natural causes? Did he OD? Was he murdered? And Bob, I will tell you, we were talking about no murders this week, but we end up having, and we're not calling this a murder, please. Please, everybody understand, I got called, like just a little bit ago. I say that. I got called probably 8:30, 9 o'clock this morning. But you know what I'm saying? We don't have enough information to really talk about what was this person murdered, was they OD'd. We don't know. We know they were dead, and we know that it.
Well, if you know that they wasn't looked at for 8 or 9 hours too, that's a serious situation.
Well, Bob, what's funny is go talk to these people at these hospitals, and again, just for you guys listening, Mr. Ferris, what I try to do is talk to your employees. And again, you know what? They always used to get mad at me and you because how did y'all find that out? How do you know that? Why y'all know? And again, it's because we talk to your people. We talk to people all the time, all over the place. Not one prison, not two prisons, all kinds of prisons, all kinds of employees. I meet employees at the store all the time, Bob. I'll meet them at restaurants. I'll come in and somebody go, "Hey, is your name Humphrey?" And yeah. Well, I work for DOC. Well, man, I appreciate you. We'll hit up a conversation. Bob, yesterday I was at a wrongful conviction rally. I never thought I'd be talking at a wrongful conviction. But David Fleener, just cases like that, you get involved with David Fleener and you go, wow, these police knew this and did not present this. It's a game changer. When you find out what they held back, knowingly held back, it's a game changer. It changes the whole deal. If you know, the guy who went in here was dating this girl that he was living with. Oh, well, then now that's a whole new story. That's a whole new book. And the police sit there and they force these witnesses to change their testimony and things like that. When you see all this, it's unbelievable. And so I'm at this wrongful conviction yesterday, and I can't tell you how many released inmates come up to me and wanted to talk about what's going on in that prison. I told him, Bob, I said, hey, if you want a boy, he's got his degree in there and he's a pretty sharp cat. He told me, he said, man, I want to come meet you and tell you all the issues going on. I said, I'll tell you what, would you consider coming on a podcast? I said, we do OCP podcast. I'd love for you to come on and just tell us all what you saw in there and what's going on in there. I said, be happy to have that. I said, I'd have to talk to you, but we might want to have him on and talk about from an inmate's perspective what he's seeing going on in those places, But Bob, back to what I was talking about, these hospitals, when you talk to all of these guys at these hospitals, one prison in particular, Bob, that we used to report on all the time we're getting reports on Great Plains. I mean, you remember, Bob, it was always Lawton, Dick Connors, Holdenville, and Great Plains. And now all of a sudden you're not hearing anything. It's quite funny, you're not really hearing anything from Lawton or Dick Connors or Great Plains. Now you're always hearing something from Holdenville. But what happened, Bob? Did they quit all of a sudden, man? They just got straightened out. Because when you talk to these guys at these hospitals, they say they're loaded up with people from Great Plains. They're loaded up with people from Great Plains. So here we are. We can't get a word what's happening in Great Plains.
Well, I heard the other day that at one of the hospitals, which I don't remember which one it was, that an inmate had attacked the staff.
Really? I hadn't heard that. There at OU or Lindsay?
I don't know. I don't know. It wasn't OU. I know that. It wasn't OU.
Well, was it serious? Do you know any details? I mean,
no, that's all I know is that he had attacked the staff.
Well, that'd be pretty interesting. I'd like to see. I think a whole lot of that's getting covered up, Bob. Speaking of Great Plains, Bob, we had an incident to where reported. Now, again, guys, we're always saying this because DOC has criminally stopped putting out information. I think it's criminal. I think they're violation of the Open Records Act. That's why I've sued them and the House for covering up all of this, covering up all kinds of incidents. But
hey, but speaking of that, did you send something to the Attorney General that they're not responding to open records requests?
Bob, I think I did. I mean, I've responded to. I've talked to the Attorney General. Well, I know. Here's the deal, Bob. I do know this. He's aware of it because they offered me. So they had they wanted me to what do you call that? To dismiss with prejudice, meaning they want me to dismiss the lawsuit, and if I'm not satisfied, I can reopen it. And that he would get all the information I want to see, and I could come back to his office and review it. Well, what's the difference between reviewing it in his office or their office? They don't intimidate me. I'll go right down to their office and look whatever I want to look at. But here's the deal, Bob, you can't look at this stuff. What people don't understand, they give you a mountain of paperwork. You got to go back and lay that all out there and sit there and look at it. I may walk by that 10 times looking at, and then that 11th time I walk by and go, that right there don't look right. And then I start looking and go, there you go, got them right here. Right here's what the deal is. I can't run over there and look at it. JJ, look at all
well,
this.
He's very quick to bring a lawsuit, or not a lawsuit, but to investigate the Ryan Walters, whatever he resigned, and basically accusing him of stealing and misappropriation of funds. He was very quick to do that. But how quick was he to go investigate DLC when Harp left? All the money.
I thought about writing him letters saying that, Bob, saying that very thing. It's amazing that you can jump on Ryan Walters, who's already had 1,500 investigations. Now you can jump on Ryan, which really, Bob, I don't want to get all too political here, but Ryan's pretty popular in the Republicans. Now I know Ryan's very controversial. So we're talking about the state superintendent, guys. He's very controversial, but in the Republican Party, he's pretty well liked. It don't seem like Goober, old Drummond, is too smart to go. If I was Drummond, I'd just kept my mouth shut on that. But you make a great point. Why is he going to jump on that's already been investigated 100 times? But he won't investigate rapes. He won't investigate human rights violations. He won't investigate murders being covered up. He won't investigate extortions. He won't investigate open, he comes out, we're going to do all this open records violation. And he knows about mine, and he's saying, well, I can get those records sent over here to you. No, they can send the records over to me. That's what open records are. I don't need to go over to your office. Somebody hold my hand because I'm a little child and can't look at these. No, they're open records. And so he makes this big statement like he's going to really go after open records, but he don't do nothing. He don't do nothing because I know he's got my case in front of him because they offered to do that. And
I've heard other ones that have complained about it too, and he hadn't done anything.
Well, my thing is, what's the difference between me going to his? He ain't no different than them. You know what I mean?
Well, I was just thinking that he was really quick to jump on Walters. I mean, he didn't make a move at all on Department of Corrections where they bought stuff, money missing, bought things without going through the proper procedures. I mean, there's tons of stuff that was violated because Harp didn't have to follow the policy. He just did
he had an open season on Harp. I mean, Harp's just he's a big bullseye. He paints a big bullseye on himself, He's just like a daggone.
I don't know if he ever came out with a statement about the money missing at on that Harper money.
Yeah, OMES, when he was at OMES, they got money. Yeah, I've been told some stuff. I've been told he's got problems, but again, Bob, you've been up there. I'm not gonna hold my breath hoping they'll do something to him because guess what? They rarely, you look at Epic. What's been done in Epic? Of course, that probably because they didn't have a great case to go off of Epic. They got handed a dog, is what I think. Okay, but then you got Swaddlings. Guess what? What are you seeing on Swaddlings? And again, you don't see anything coming off the state side. Nothing on the state side. Every one of these cases are involving the state side. That's where it starts, and we don't see any charges. And again, Drummond ain't going to go after them because he wants to keep the state people. He wants to keep all them people happy. He wants to get elected governor.
What about this guy that you said there was a lieutenant that had an altercation with an inmate?
Yeah, Bob, that's why I was talking about that hospital, that we never hear anything. Then the hospital's saying, well, dadgum, we're loaded up people from Great Plains. Then I get a report from Great Plains that this lieutenant beats the dog out of this inmate. They said little old white guy. I think it's a little white guy. I'd had to go back and look. Anyways, they beat the dog out of him. I got his name, but drug him all the way back to SHU by his hair is what they said. Said he was beaten bad. Said he had to go to the hospital and was in bad shape. I hear he's doing better right now. So what they said was that this officer was in jail, but I had some people looking and they're not finding him. If he is in jail, I'm not seeing him.
I cannot criticize an officer about it in any way, shape, or form until I have more information. I've thought about this when I seen that, but officers are daily. They are desperate to get things under control. Things have been out of control now for almost 4 years. They're desperate to get things under control, and they're beat down too.
I agree, Bob. That's why I said a while ago when we were talking about them not doing their duty or whatever, I wouldn't stop and go, hey, look here, we're not blaming y'all. Now, here's the difference. I would 100% agree officers are being spit on. They're being feces strode on them. They're being threatened. It's a bad environment. It's a bad environment. But to actually beat somebody to the point that they are hospitalized, drag them by the hair, if that happened, and again, what we want to say is if that happened. And
you know what? You could have had, we don't know that this inmate attacked him, blindsided him. You get in a fight, you get in a fight, somebody, if you're winning, they're going to get beat up. But we don't know exactly all the facts of that. And I don't know if they grabbed him by the hair, if the guy was fighting and he couldn't get any help to help him take him to HAU, or where was he taking him to?
SHU,
yeah. SHU.
Segregated housing unit, Bob.
We need a little more information about this situation. So I certainly hope they wouldn't go file charges on the officer on not knowing all the facts. If that officer was, what if he was attacked? What if he was blindsided and the guy got him? They got in a fight, and yourself when you get in a fight, you don't think you say, "Well, am I hurting this guy or whatever?" I mean, you try to win.
Well, Bob, if it was a legitimate fight, then you know where I'd come down on that. But at the end of the day, the report I'm getting, it's a small white kid that he beat the hell out of and then drug him down there by his hair. If it's the case, I agree we need more facts. And that's why I brought up the open records deal. We can't get no more facts. That's the problem, Bob. Is I've been hearing about
they got such a shortage of staff, and they got lousy management the past few years. We're lucky that the place has not been blown up. I mean, that's just all there is to it. There's the employees there. They've been under extreme amount of pressure.
Well, Bob, the inmates have run it. So again, we talk about rights. They don't have to riot. They have control of the facilities right now. Inmates are controlling the prison system. You don't think that? Look here, Bob. I got a report the other day, and again, we can't confirm all this because they don't talk and they hide everything. But I was told that they went to the UBs, all right, the Aryan Brotherhood, UABs, whatever you want to call them. Aryan Brotherhood, they go to the Aryan Brotherhood, and the Aryan Brotherhood is now donating T-shirts, underwear, socks.
Yeah, what?
The Aryan Brotherhood is supplying DOC with. Now, this is a report I got. In fact, I wrote that this morning. I said, say it ain't so. Say this ain't true. Somebody tell me this is not true, but this is what I am being told, is that the Aryan Brotherhood is supplying all this because they cut. Now here's the thing, Bob. Let's kind of put on our thinking hats this morning. Everybody listening, put on your thinking hat and let's think. So they privatize all of this stuff. They changed the way that the inmates can get clothes. They changed the way everything is done. Okay? Now, where the inmates used to go in there and could get a $2 socks, socks for $2. Guess what? It cost them 10 today. Cost them $10. Hey, guess what? The same gang that's giving them the socks will turn around and extort somebody else for their socks. They'll extort 1,000 out of their mom saying, we're going to beat him, rape him, we're going to do whatever if you don't pay us $1,000. Okay? They take the extortion money, buy a few socks, and give it. Hey, they're almost like the Clintons. This sounds like the Clinton kind of deal. Charity. That's their charity deal. It's not Haiti, it's Oklahoma DOC. So Bob, when we raise that and nobody can afford it, then what do you expect them to do? Do you expect them to get everything, or do you expect them to start smuggling stuff in? Start doing all of this kind of criminal activity to pay for everything. I'll give you the most. And here's what's funny, Bob. Who's making all this money? Because me and you know how this thing works. Let me explain it to our public. You got lobbyists up there who will come to some representative and say, hey, hook me up with the Department of Corrections, get me with this guy, get me with that guy. We want to make a deal. A lot of times, hey, we can help you. You can get a job when you get out. We'll have a job for you. We'll do this. We'll do that. All of this kind of stuff. And here's the deal. We passed the law. Oh, you can't go to work for the state. Golly, it ain't the state you got to worry about going to work for. It's all these lobbyists and all of this money over here. And it's just hilarious that we passed stuff trying to make us look like, oh, yeah, we're good Republicans and we're watching this money. While over here, the same bunch is claiming that it's getting filthy rich off of everything.
Now, JJ, did we not privatize the canteen?
I think they're working on privatizing everything, what I understood, Bob. I don't talk to DOC anymore. Justin Ferris hadn't spoken a word to me probably in 2 years. I saw him at a gas station. I said, hey, how you doing? I went back there and got a cup of coffee. He's standing in line. I was going to come stand there and talk to him a minute. By damn, he was gone. I thought I'd scorch fire. He's gone, man. He was out the door. He don't talk to me. Of course, I understand that. I get that we've made people mad, that we've got people aggravated, and that it's a pretty heated situation.
Well, that's like saying because you're a Democrat, I don't like you. If you're a Republican, I don't like you. I'm not going to talk to you. It had nothing to do with common sense and being polite, talking to other people.
I think his is political. He knows that my own people hate me. He knows that his people hate me, and so he don't even want to get sick. And they've threatened people, Bob. They've threatened people that if they're seen talking to me and you, they're going to be in trouble. So again, that's what he's just, it's quite funny. But you got so many people that are, could come to us. Could come to him, fix stuff. But you got this going on. Let me tell you where the real issue, let me tell you a big, big issue, is the phone that nobody's talking about.
Oh, the increase in using the phone.
Well,
big increase. They didn't even warn anybody they're doing it. They just did it.
I just got I will tell you this. I hope Justin will allow me to talk to him and we can talk, and I've got a reason to believe that maybe we could talk. And if that's so, I would love to talk to you. But here's the thing. Listen to me. Listen to what we're saying. Your phones. Give me a second. You have went up on your phones to where people cannot talk on the phone to their family. If you have a reasonable $100-something a week would be a reasonable cost, is what they're telling me, to talk to an inmate. I got a person call me the other night. Hey, we don't want our guy having a phone. We want him home. We're going to pay for the phone. And they said, we don't talk all the time, but we plan on $110 a week phone. Okay? That's $440 a week to talk on a phone.
month.
Now, a month. Yes, a month. Now, that's a car payment. That's a house payment. You know what I mean? For a lot of people. And so you're going to pay that. Now, and let's talk about who. This guy's locked up. He's making money. Is his wife making that kind of money? So his mom and dad's having to pay for a lot of this. The wife's got kids out there. We're expecting them to pay $440. And really what you say is, well, he don't need to call home. He can call home for 5 minutes. Yeah, get locked up and see how that works. See if you want to talk to your kids and all that kind of stuff. But here's the thing, Bob. Guess what? Most people are not going to do that. Most people are not going to do that. And you know what? They're going to get these phones because you pay $40. Go get a burn phone, $40 a month. Which one you going to pay? $440 or $40 a month? Pretty easy, especially these guys doing a lot of time. They're going to get phones after phones after phones. And that's a big, big part of their problem. But we shouldn't make that kind of money. I know we got a prison. I know we got to make money. But guess what? You should not be making that kind of money off your canteen. You should not be making that kind of money off of, I got another one. Dick Connors, they tore out the garden. These guys are out there doing the garden. Now, that may not sound like much, but guess what? If you're locked up in there, I've seen guys take care of cats, dogs, stray stuff. Man, it was the whole place got to where. I remember, oh boy, he kicked one or did something bad to the animal. My gosh, they was gonna kill it. The whole place was gonna kill him. You know what I mean? They get attached. These gardens, they go out there and they grow these gardens. Dick Connors, I was told the warden just said, tear it out, tear it down. And again, that's a big morale, problem. A problem for morale is what I'm trying to say. And again, that just makes your life easier as a correctional officer to make your life easier. And we're seeing things like it. We're seeing these employees, they're going out, buying out of their own pocket to go take care of mold. You're fired. You didn't get that mold taken care of. You're fired. Okay, here's a garden. Good deal, man. All the inmates love it. Tear it down. Tear it down. We don't want them having, something they take pride in. We don't want them eating from something they did and teaching them, you can go look at every kind of evidence-based practice and it'll tell you to do that kind of stuff. But no, we're not going to follow evidence-based practice. We're not going to look at any of that kind of stuff. We're just going to tear everything down, give them nothing to do, and try to take their phones and watch it. We're just going to keep doing and doing until we have a damn real right. And I'm amazed. I would tell you, I stand amazed we hadn't had it already.
Well, we've had several, well, I guess you'd say mini riots that was just happened at one facility.
Well, we've had a lot of,
and a number of people fighting, a number of people hurt. But as far as having something happen at all the prisons at the same time, no, we've not had that. But JJ, you got to look at what they've had to go through here. We are way short of employees, way short. And you think they would really care. They act like they care. They put out statements, these cute little statements like they care, but they don't care.
Well, Bob, getting rid of the people that they've gotten rid of, again, I don't know, is that on a lower level or is that coming from upper management? Where's that attitude coming from? That people are expendable, that we don't care, we don't want professional people hanging around. We're getting rid of all of our experience. We're getting rid of anybody who would stand up and say, hey, this is the way it ought to be done. And again, for no reason, the way they're practicing that's why they lose all their lawsuits. That's why they lose, is because they're doing it absolutely wrong, and they know they're doing it wrong. They know they're doing it wrong, and they don't care, because guess what? They're going to make these people sit unemployed for 2 years, go find something else to do. they will ruin their life, make their life hell.
But not only that, JJ, they're stopping them, fighting them getting unemployment.
Yeah, I mean
That's how
that's what I'm
they
saying,
are.
Bob. They make their life hell. That little lawyer they got that ain't worth it. I mean, she ain't worth. That she's pathetic. She's pathetic. I guarantee you, if they appointed her to represent me, I'd just go ahead and cut my own throat. You know what I'm saying? She's that bad. You know. So, anyways, they're losing everything. They got to go get outside help, pay them extra money. Guess what? They make your life a living hell. So, guys, anytime that you get fired, we are going to try to help you. We're going to fight for you. But at the end of the day, no, even when we win, I mean, we'll win probably most likely right there in civil service court, and they'll appeal it, and we'll have another win in civil service court, my understanding, and then we'll go to the district court, and then it's dragging, and we'll probably win or have to go back to the other. But we're going to probably win most likely, but 3 years from now, when you're starved to death and they've made your life hell, because that's what they do, because that's their attitude. And I just want to say, man, Mr. Ferris, if you're listening, Director, if you're listening, I'm for you. I am for you, 1,000% for you. Okay? And I know I'm in trouble. I know I get a little stirred up. I keep it running. But I like it. I thrive on that, okay? Because it needs to be done. Somebody needs to be stirring up all the problems. But you have you have an opportunity to be the person that comes in, shows these people you care, hire people back, bring people back that you got lawsuits on, settle the lawsuits, bring this experience back. Go through each prison and find out who's been fired here lately for ridiculous causes. Get on the phone personally, call them and say, we'd like you to come back. Bring those people back. You'll get your staff, and you start doing that, guess what? Now the word's coming out. Hey, we got a guy that's actually backing us. We got a guy who's really actually interested in this. And you got 23 places. Quit looking at it as a whole. Yeah, you got a budget. You got people to do that. Go down there and start looking at each one of them prisons individually. Study it. Separate it out. See what's wrong at that prison individually and address those individual prison problems. And guess what? You'll start having great results pretty quickly, I would say. And I know you got your hands full. Hey, Bob, I think me and you both have said this when Crow was there, when Harp was there. I never tried to take away that Harp probably got one of the toughest jobs. Being the Department of Corrections Director, Department of Corrections, Department of Human Services, and Department of Mental Health would be a nightmare right now to try to run. I honestly would love. I would love to be in charge of DOC because I personally know that I can take DOC and turn it around because I know how to put the things that I'm talking about into practice. I know, and guess what? I want to say, Mr. Ferris, if you're listening, your main asset's your employees. You got to know that. Your main asset is your employees. And if you can get your employees behind you, change their morale, get them boosted, start training them properly, they'll go out and recruit people for you. You got your money up there where it's reasonable. You can get employees.
Well, on this lieutenant deal, I'd really like to know more about the situation. Because I'm certainly not going to go out there and criticize an officer because he beat somebody up. If somebody jumped him and they had a fight,
Bob, I put that out this morning. They're saying that he's in jail, and I said, however, they said he took him to jail, and I put, however, if you go over and look, he ain't been booked in. And I think we always, and Bob used to, we would never come out and reported stuff we didn't have the answers to, but because they've locked down all the information to where you can't get the information, all we can do is come out and say, this is what's being reported anymore. So absolutely, I think we need the facts. I think we need to know, hey, I got another report of an officer beaten, paying to have inmates beat up. I didn't even put that, didn't even discuss that because we don't have enough information on it to really have that information out there. But again, this one is being talked about. This one's pretty much out there. They're saying that he did beat this young kid up, that he drug him by the hair to SHU, is what the report is. They're saying he beat the hell out of him, and the kid's in the hospital. And again, beating somebody to the point that they're in the hospital, and again, we'd have to know how big his kid is. And you're right. We need more facts. We need all the facts before we jump to a conclusion. But the problem is you can't get the facts because DOC.
Was there a situation where an officer was supposedly paid an inmate to beat up another inmate? Is that?
Oh yeah. I'm getting reports of that quite frequently. That's going on. In fact, this officer, I had previously gotten reports saying that he was doing that, and another officer targeting the other officer supposedly is targeting sex offenders and having them beat up and stuff like that. Bob, we know we had one there in Lexington that came to us on OCP, if you'll remember.
Yeah.
And he had actually didn't participate, but had watched it, if I remember right, and just let it go on. Didn't do anything, and then come in and wanted OCP to represent him, and had to say, "Hey, can't represent you. You're in the wrong. That's wrong." And that's what I'm trying. Officers, man, you can't beat the hell out of people, drag them to the, even if they're the criminals, not you. You have to be professional. You have to do what, again, you got to fight. Somebody lays their hands on me. Guess what? We're going to have a fight. But when they're subdued and when they're in handcuffs, then fight's over. Then you're the professional person. Fight's over. You're fighting to restrain them. You're fighting to make sure that they don't harm others, harm you, harm your staff. After you get them restrained, guess what? You have to step back. And sometimes you need to step back and go take a little, second. And it's understandable. People cussing you, people throwing urine on you. Hey, anybody's going to get pissed on that. Yeah. So.
Well, when you find numbers of cases like that, that's a problem.
Well, Bob, I'll tell you another problem is this case management. We're not talking about it enough. The case managers are short, and we're seeing some major problems. I had a guy yesterday, and he didn't show me enough of his paperwork to verify what he's saying, but he's showing me that it looks like he doesn't know what he's talking about. And he said that he was held way past his discharge date. And I told him, if you got a lawsuit. And I actually offered to introduce him to our lawyer. He said, hey, I got a lawyer. I said, well, if you're happy with it, I'd say you got a lawsuit. Because I'd have to see your time sheets. And I said, you're showing me stuff, but there could be some other stuff that could happen that would take away time. I said, I'd have to look at the whole deal. But what you're showing me would tend to lend credence that he was kept way past his discharge date. And again, that's a major violation. We're seeing that kind of stuff happen. They're going to end up getting a hell of a lawsuit filed on them over that kind of stuff.
Is that what happened with that young kid that got beat up?
Yeah. They want to lie and they want to say, oh, he's not. I went through his records. He got, they said, and here's what's funny, Bob, on that case. We're talking about the Ross case. He's at McLeod, if I remember correctly. They're going to transport him to Lexington. He goes directly to McAllister. And again, who changed that? How did they change it? So they changed it without a hearing. They're saying that he spit on the officers, but they don't file charges. They get up there and they change his date. So he's supposed to get out, I think, December. They change his date to July the 5th. Well, guess what? It's snapshotted July the 5th. On July the 24th, something like that, 25th, they snapshotted again. It's still there, July 5th. So before and after, it says July 5th. Now, if they had done a proper audit and it would have properly changed that date, then no way on the 25th should that date still been there. And no way should he still been in prison with this date hanging out. They get over here to September 12th, he gets killed. They automatically put out Well, he discharged the 12th. That's a lie. That's a flat lie. He didn't discharge. He got killed on the 12th. He was in prison when he died. He was there. So creating that narrative like he discharged, like died, oh, you got released because you're dead. Well, you're dead, you know. So again, then they come back and change it a couple of more times. You know, Bob, they got problems if we ever get that to court. And I guarantee you, I've looked at it. I'm convinced they messed up. They're lying, no question. And I feel like that's going on across the state because they got a massive shortage on people, training people, getting people in there that know what. Hey, during that time, people just think, oh, you're just a case manager. No, I mean, if you get a caseload of 100 and you're trying to keep up with who's got what good time and who's going to what job and who's going to this and who's going to that and keeping these records and making sure they don't get sued and paying attention to what's going on. So this guy don't need to be with this guy. We need to move them apart. That's what case managers do. It's a key job in that institution, but they're having them not only shorthanded, but then they're pulling them off to do other duties that officers can't do that used to be done on the units and stuff, because now they're shorthanded on officers, they're shorthanded on case managers. Now case managers are doing officer duty, and guess what? It snowballs. I mean, it just trickles all down. And again, once it starts, it's disastrous. And that's where we are. Mr. Ferris, you've inherited a disaster.
No.
But you got to sit down and you got to admit. Admitting is the first step to anything, whether you're an alcoholic or whether it's your truck. You got to admit, you got to identify the problem. Can't go forward till you identify the problem, till you admit the problem, identify it, and then go to work.
Excuse me,
Hey,
JJ.
that dog.
Yeah, come on.
It got loose. Again, Mr. Ferris, I do want to say, if you are watching, I want to see you succeed. I want it would no greater joy than if you were the best director ever in the history of the Department of Corrections. There would be no greater joy for me. I want to see the Department of Corrections succeed. I want to see you be a top player, but your officers, your employees is who's going to have to do that for you. That's what's going to make you or break you. Who's going to make you or break you is those employees, and what you do with those employees is going to be the big key. I will tell you this. I love your employees. I think they are great people. And again, your job is to make sure they're safe, make sure their conditions that they can do their job. And our last, I wish you'd return that motto. I love your motto. Your old motto made way more sense than this crap Hart come up with. Get your motto back. Your motto's what counts. Protect the public, protect the employee, protect the inmate. Guess what? Our job is to train these inmates not to come back. We need to start doing that. You got to do that through training your employees, modeling good behavior, make your employees be the people who will model that behavior, who love to come to work, who love to, be trained to be professional and do a great job. That's what I grew up in. When I went to work for the department, I was young, 21, 22 years old, 22 years old. Guess what? I mean, hey, I was trained, I was mentored. You know what? I take great pride in all of that I did. I take great pride in working for the Department of Corrections because it was an agency to take pride in. Make it back what it is. You worked under that same department. I mean, we're not that far apart. You worked under a department that knew how to do it right. Make it right. Do what's right.
Well, it's there's still never a shortage of things to talk about.
Bob, we got, like I say, that phone system. We could talk about that all day on just how they're ripping people off, and they're giving. Now we know that there's criminals in there that's going to have phones, but how do you expect people not to have a phone when you're going to turn around and charge them? And think about this. I know people who have a son and a husband maybe 2 kids in there, a nephew, and now they're going to be spending 400 something a piece. I know people who spend over $1,000 a month on phone stuff. I mean, can you imagine? And I look at them and go, where is all that money? Where are you getting your money? And I figure it's through some illegal activity in the prison, and again, a lot of your extortion stuff. My gosh, I had people coming up. I made that wrongful conviction. Bob, if I had one, I bet I had 15 come up. JJ, you got to do something about the extortion. They're extorting everybody. The extortion's just crazy. It's out of hand. And, one lady come up. I don't even want, when my kid calls, I'm even scared to take his calls because I know I'm going to be getting extorted, And so you got a problem there, Mr. Ferris. You got a huge, huge problem. And like I say, I would say, first of all, big thing, I'd take that OIG and I'd bust them up and put them in them prisons and get that extortion stopped. I would get them OIGs to actually investigate the overdoses and the murders, and I would start charging people with those. I would do an assessment on each prison, who's the movers and shakers causing the problem, and I'd take them to OSP and lock their butt down. And like I say, you can get rid of a lot of this pretty quick. You can pull a Trump in 1 or 2 days. What he do, the 100 days? Give 100 days, we can make that place look like a totally different place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but in some cases, JJ, on OIG, you can't hardly put an OIG agent under investigation at a prison that his wife's the warden.
Well, yeah, and that needs to be all over. Like I say, you need to look at each prison individually and say where the problem's at. And if you got husband and wife and he's investigating all that, absolutely. I mean, it's a no-brainer. If you got the sister over here, so you got husband being OIG, investigating all that, sister over here, this lady up here that's getting 1,000 complaints on her. Hey, it's not hard to see that those are easy problems to identify. Those are easy problems to fix, unless you're political, unless you're good friends and you don't want to do, that's the problem. That's the problem. It's the politics and all this. I tell people all the time, politics is tough. Politics is tough. Right and wrong is easy. Get out of the political business, get out of politics, get in the right and wrong business, and do right and wrong, and you'll find that it's a whole lot easier. Just do right. Just go find the wrong, correct it, and do right. That's not that hard. And if you'll go do that, and you'll consistently do that, you'll be transparent in everything you do. You'll catch a little hell. I can guarantee you'll catch hell. And if you're as noisy as I am, you'll catch a whole lot of hell on it. But you know what? Hey, I just filed a grand jury that person's on that I would have rather him not being on. I'd rather not. I would have rather been the farthest away from that. I really would. It burns. It eats me up that I had to do, but I say it eats me up. I did right. You do what's right. And there's, you know what I'm saying? Even when it's hard, do what's right. And that makes it easy.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's very difficult to be in a situation such as that.
It is. It's hard, but you have to look at, okay, what was done? Do I need, and do what's right. And once you do it, then you know what? Stay the course. Just stay the course. And that's, I'm going to tell you, Bob, we started this, how long you been? 4 or 5 years? Director. What have you been, 4?
I don't know. It's either 4 or 5. Maybe going on 4. Maybe going on 5.
Well, when we started, Bob, there was 2 things we were working on. That was pay, and we went after that pay hard, and we did it. And Mr. Ferris, if you're listening, Justin, hey, I'll give you credit, man. I'll give you credit for working with us and getting that done. I mean, I'll give you all praise in the world. Now, we had to have a hell of a fight to get there, but once we got there, you jumped on board, you worked with us, You worked with us on uniforms. You worked with us on hours. You are responsible. I'll tell the probation pro people, we filed a bill to get them a raise. Guess what? You did it, not me, not anybody. You got that done. I'll tell them that. There's no question you stepped in. I think we can take some credit for filing the bill, getting attention on it. But at the end of the day, you got it. And then they turned around and got the other raise that we got. So you got them doubled up raises. You know what? That's when you hold your head. That's when these people start respecting you, when you're fighting for stuff like that. Don't be like your predecessor and get a 5-star general, walk around and fire everybody and screw everybody. And again, quit building that administration. Get rid of your worst thing. Go axe half your administration, clean house on it, and your place will run 100 times better. But I know that's going to be a very, very difficult thing, because you're and that's going to be hard for you. I could step in and do that. Wouldn't be as hard for me, but that's going to be hard for you. I know that, but that's one of the things that you need to do. And I wouldn't fire them. I'd give them the choice. I'd reclassify them. I'd reassign them. I'd assign them back down there to that prison, because that's where we need help. And that's
JJ, we got like 2 minutes, so you want to last 2 minutes. Last 2 minutes.
Yeah. Hey, guys, we thought we were going to make a week with no incidents, with no murders, no deaths. We don't know a murder yet. No deaths. Didn't make it. Here's another one this week. We've got a report of officers beating another officer, inmate, dragging him down to his cell. Again, guys, we're not saying that did happen. That's a report we got. But we want to encourage you, be professional, make sure you cover yourself, make sure that you protect yourself in all of these kind of things. Those are the kind of things that end up in lawsuits. Those are the kind of things that end up with you getting charged with civil rights violations and going to prison or going to jail yourself. We've called out the abuse on the phone system, overcharging these inmates, because that leads to all of this problem with the phone thing that we're having. The gang pay getting cut. They left the inmates a whole lot of no choice. Now we got the UBs kicking in and paying for DOC. We're broke. You got a problem when you're having to go to the UBs and ask for help from the Aryan Brotherhood gangs to get help to get your people clothing, socks, underwear. That's a shame. When we get to that point, we got mowed. We're firing the people who are trying to take care of it. Hey, we really need you, Mr. Ferris, to step up and step in and change these things. You got a problem? Hey, I want to offer my help. I want to offer Bob's. I'll volunteer, Bob. We're here. We want to help you. We want to help you.
JJ, I want to say one thing, and we're going to shut her down. I don't know if it's all Justin or it's coming from the governor. So if the governor's calling the shots and we continue having the deaths and everything else, we'll know it's the governor calling the shot. It's nothing has nothing to do with DOC, and Justin's going to follow whatever the governor tells him. But we'll had a good show today, and I appreciate everybody being here. And if you got any questions,